Welcome to the Vox Pathfinder 15R channel of part 2 of fixing noisy Vox Pathfinder 15. And here I have the chassis of an identical model, Pathfinder 15, slightly disassembled for demonstration purposes. And I have a few parts, and we're going to go about showing you. First thing I want to do, I want to show you the difference of the parts that I just replaced on my nephew's amplifier. I have, one second, I put this part in to replace his input jack, and you can see there's 4 legs. The part that came out of it has 3. It's missing this leg here. And it wasn't broken off, it was just never there. And so when I installed it, I was like, oh, maybe I have to break this leg off? And then I noticed something, that if you look at the chassis, the hole does exist for that leg to go into, but it was filled with solder from the factory. So they're only using that hole, that hole, and that hole. So I just tried to figure out, what do these holes do? So to make it easier, let's stand this up so you can see that. I started probing for any continuity between these posts. And then I noticed, is this on right? Let me do that again. Now my multimeter's not working. Oh, it was just really off. Always check your multimeter. So let's do that again. No continuity. No continuity. Then I probed just these 2. Continuity. I was like, okay. So what's that doing? And then I was just experimenting. Well, let's see where the continuity between these posts and the guitar cable are. I already have a rough idea from experience, but just double checking. So if you touch the base here, you can probe. It's funny how things always become tangled up for videos, isn't it? And things don't want to cooperate. If you touch the base and probe all these things, there's continuity with this first post. No continuity, no continuity, no continuity. You would expect that from experience. And from experience, you expect continuity from the tip to this back. And just to prove it doesn't have continuity anywhere else, we'll just touch all these posts, nothing. But the back, you have continuity. So that represents the base, that represents the tip. But what do those 2 things do? Now let's probe those 2 middle ones again. No continuity. So there's an arm in there that lifts up, breaks the continuity. When you take it out, it lifts up. So you look at the circuit board. Let's see if I can just find that in the video. And what you'll notice is, you see that? What you'll notice is that here's the base, and the circuit is connected to the base to that pin here, and here's the tip. I'm sorry, let's reverse. Here's the base, and the base is touching this tip that was there on this part. And here's the tip, and there's a trace connecting to the part that was missing, but is on the new part. So what that does is it grounds out the tip to ground when you take the plug out. So that's why my nephew's amplifier was very noisy with no plug-in instrument cable plugged in, because it lacked this feature of grounding out the tip to the ground plane when no instrument cable. So now, so when he had this, it was just an antenna for RF noise. Now, how useful is that? I mean, you have to decide for yourself. I don't think, if it's working properly, I don't think it's worth fixing for the most part, because it's only really bad if the volume's high, and it's only bad because you have the cable out. So is that, you know, if you're gonna fix stuff in here, you're gonna rip the board, then yeah, it's worth putting this newer updated part. But it's in normal operation, you know, when the instrument cable is plugged in, when your guitar cable is plugged in, these are function equally. So there's just a tip to reduce noise. If it's really bothering you that your amplifier is really noisy with no instrument cable plugged in and the volume and gain set really high, then that's possibly the fix. And I think what happened is that the engineers at Vox designed it to work with this, but you know, they had a batch of 1 million Pathfinders to put out, and they can only get this supplier, or maybe they could get this one 2 cents cheaper, and then 1 million Pathfinders times 2 cents, and you know, the bean counter stepped in and said, you're putting that part in, right? Okay, that's been the Vox Pathfinder 15R channel, and I hope that clarifies your noise issues if you're experiencing the same thing. But I am sure a bunch of them went out the factory door properly with these 4 posts, so it might not be an issue in yours. Okay, have a great day.